What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 5 of the Highlife Reel. I'm Bill Rom.
Josh Shapiro.
And we will get started with the headliner. Headliner this week, if you watch the show, you know I'm a Bills fan, so you know where I'm going with this. Bills make the playoffs for the first time in 17 years, ending the longest playoff drought in the history of the NFL. Have you gotten a chance to watch any of the player reaction videos?
Yeah, I saw a player reaction video. I saw the reaction video of all the fans. It was like, and it went crazy. It was dope. That's what's gonna happen when your team's not in for 17 years. So,
I was in 8th grade.
Wow.
The last time that they made the playoffs, and that was the year that they had the Music City Miracle.
Okay.
And the Bills are playing the Titans and do a squib kick because the game's almost over. There's like 17 seconds left in the game. The tight end for the Titans picks the ball up. I think his name was Frank Wycheck. Takes the ball, throws it across the field. Guy catches it, runs it all the way back for the touchdown. Bills are out. Titans go on to lose to the Rams by a quarter of an inch. Guy outstretched his arm, just missed the touchdown. Rams win. And the Bills would have won. They should have won. And that was the start of just a downward trend for the Bills. And the players can say whatever they want. I know the players throughout the course of the last few weeks have been saying, we're not part of that. That's not a tradition of us. Like, we weren't there. Like, this is a brand new squad. We don't feel the weight of it. You watch those players in the locker room, players felt the weight. Micah Hyde's in there flipping out, so excited for guys. Kyle Williams, who's a longtime Buffalo Bill, has his sons in there. They're flipping out. They're going crazy. Guys are losing their minds. It was very, very cool. But what's more cool is Bills fans are so hyped that they made it. I'm hyped. Listen, I'm hyped, but I can stay calm. They win against Jacksonville, though. I'm going to get super hyped. Last night, the last time I checked, $170,000 have been donated to Andy Dalton's charity by Bills fans for throwing the touchdown pass that got them into the playoffs. Cool things about the internet, cool things about stuff today. We can talk about the fact that, social media and stuff like that impacts how we view things, but also a quarterback for a team in Cincinnati throws a touchdown pass that gets the Bills into the playoffs, and players are able to go online, or kids are able to go online and donate to that person's charity and help people, and to make $170,000 in 48 hours because he threw a touchdown pass. Like,
it's awesome.
It's unreal.
Yeah,
it's unreal.
It's good people.
But it's crazy. I can't remember the last time. Like, I don't really remember how I felt when they made. And I live in New York, so I've seen Giants win Super Bowls. I've seen Jets go to multiple championship games. It's weird to think that that's a thing. But
yeah, it is. Bills Mafia back at it.
Bills Mafia running it, circling the wagons. Between the lines, college football playoff. We talked a few episodes ago about my thoughts on who should get in. I really don't like Alabama. I thought Ohio State deserved the shot. Alabama went out, and their defense played unreal against a great Clemson team and really shut them down. I think there was a lot of motivation there. There had been so much that had gone on that I think they came out just extra hot than what they normally would. But great win by Alabama.
That game was, honestly, I thought it was kind of boring. It was just because of his defense. And I was watching the Oklahoma game before, and you see 50 points go up, and you're like, offense, and then it was just, and
see, but
I know. But that's what makes the college game, and everybody loves the college game, is the high scoring atmosphere.
But baseball needs high scoring, because baseball, having a one-run game, if you have a pitcher dominating, right? You might have a certain guy out in the outfield. A ball might never travel to the outfield. If a ball never travels to the outfield, I've seen it's just been boring. It's great that one person is dominating a bunch of other people.
You don't remember that, though, as a player.
But I'm saying, when you watch a football game, or even you watch a soccer game, when a soccer game is 1-0, everybody's still participating and active the entire time.
Yeah, but in a baseball game, you have to hit.
Right, but I'm saying is, if you have a guy could hit the ball and ground out, and everybody in the game can ground out, the game gets boring, right? Because there's people standing there doing nothing. When you play soccer, everyone's constantly in motion and constantly involved. It's not like somebody is sitting there the whole game not doing anything. Basketball, defense plays strong, but still you have people always constantly moving. Football, you have everybody constantly moving. It's not like somebody didn't have something. It's the back and forth. It's the ebb and flow of things. When you're playing a football game and you have a lower score, I feel like that game can be exciting for a football fan because you're watching two teams go back and forth. The biggest reason why that game got boring is that the score ended up showing you that there wasn't going to be anything. But that again was set up by defense.
I mean, that's fair. I feel like both quarterbacks weren't also the greatest quarterbacks. I think just they're a little bit overrated, especially on the Alabama side. He's not going to be a good quarterback in the NFL.
Listen,
at all.
and I think that goes back and forth. You don't have to win football games by only having a great quarterback. And that's a story for another episode.
But look at Oklahoma versus Georgia. You had Baker Mayfield,
which we'll segue into that. Georgia beats Oklahoma in a classic
shootout,
double overtime. Everybody going after points. But yeah, go ahead.
First overtime in Rose Bowl history.
Yeah,
I'm surprised to hear that. That's interesting.
That game became a defensive game.
Yeah, late, but
I'm saying,
it wasn't a defensive game till.
But defense is what wins it.
Of course,
it's never the offense.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing in any other sport. Defense wins championships in basketball. Pitching wins championships in baseball. It's just how it is.
But watching Baker Mayfield's last game, what do you think?
He's the truth.
Is he the truth?
He's a leader.
Okay.
He's a leader. He did not listen. He got hyped when they won. He did his little thing running around, but Georgia was having shoulder pads and stuff that they were doing. It's just the way Baker Mayfield plays. But at the end of the day, he was hyping up his team positively. He was doing everything he had to do correctly. So I don't think there's nothing wrong with Baker Mayfield.
I think if it's me and I'm a team and I'm drafting, I think Baker Mayfield has to go to a team that's already got an established quarterback. I think he's got to go to a team where he's not going to have to start for a few years. So if he comes out and you're willing to use a first-round pick on him, I can understand that, but I don't see him being a top 10 player.
I could see him going to no, I know we're all going to say the Jets, but I can see, because Josh McCown's been not an established quarterback for years. People love him in the locker room. He's a leader. He can learn under McCown for another year. The Jets aren't. Let the Jets rebuild for another year.
He cannot be a Jet. He can't be a Jet.
He can be a Jet.
They don't have the locker room stability to hold it. And if the Jets take him, I don't think that's going to help them get to where they want to go fast enough.
I like Baker Mayfield.
The team, to me, and we're getting into other topics now, and that's fine. I'm going to roll with this. You know who might be a super genius, a mad genius, and we're all bashing on him now? Bill Belichick.
Oh, of course.
Bill Belichick, I could see drafting a guy like Baker Mayfield, putting him on the bench and making him sit there behind Tom Brady, learning how to be a guy behind Tom Brady, putting him in that established system and seeing what's up, and then taking a guy with that level of talent, making him sit for a couple of years and play. You watch Garoppolo. Garoppolo was a really solid college player, but Garoppolo wasn't supposed to be a super stud. Now he comes in, he switches teams. He takes a team that's one of the worst teams in the NFL. He immediately makes them respectable. They start winning games. They beat Jacksonville. Jacksonville's the third seed in the playoffs, beat that team, kept winning.
Yeah.
That guy put it together. You put him there, he'll have success because he'll be forced to be a pro.
That's
if
fair.
you let him go to the Jets, he's going to think that he's the man, and that is going to deteriorate because he's never going to have accountability. He's going to be Joe Namath without a Super Bowl.
Damn. Joe Namath without a Super Bowl.
Ohio State
Whoa.
beats on USC, dominates against Sam Darnold. They were the 5th seed. USC was the 8th. Did Ohio State deserve to be in?
It's tough.
That's my point to the Alabama game.
Alabama looked good.
Alabama looked good, but so
Clemson
did Ohio
looked
State.
like crap.
But who's the team who looked the best this weekend? Really put it to prognosticator. Really put it to prognosticators.
Probably Ohio State.
UCF beats Auburn.
Oh, well, yeah.
Auburn beats Georgia. Auburn beats Alabama.
Yeah, I forgot about
Auburn gets beat
by UCF. 13-0.
Undefeated team. You and I sat here and talked, and I said I think UCF deserves at least a conversation of how am I not? They ended up winning their conference against another team that was a top 25 ranked team. They had no losses on their record. They now have a win against Auburn. Is UCF legitimate?
Yes, and I think it's time to go to a 16 college playoff.
Oh, 6?
6.
6 team.
8's too much.
I think that
Dude, UCF deserves to be in, so did Ohio State.
I think it's all too much. The problem becomes the more teams you add. I think that it's good because you give 2 teams that are the 1 seeds buys. And that forces – so, like, you have a team like Clemson. Clemson's first game has to be against Alabama, right? If you gave Clemson because they're the 1 seed and you gave Oklahoma because they were the 2 seed, if you gave both of those teams first-round buys, you make Georgia play UCF and you make Alabama play Ohio State in a first-week wild card round, then the following week, whatever falls. But you give the team that was the 1 or the 2 seed the opportunity to you give them an advantage for.
Let's keep it real.
Being good.
How much of an advantage does Clemson get playing Alabama? None. Just because they're a 4 seed, it's Alabama.
How much advantage does the Philadelphia Eagles get playing the Atlanta Falcons in the first round?
Not a lot. None. Atlanta Falcons were a Super Bowl team last year.
Atlanta, you have the wild card teams in NFL playoffs are better than some of the teams that were the division champions. That they're going to end up having horribly rough games coming into their first game. So it's good that they won, but without Carson Wentz, I see problems too. Playoffs are difficult. Playoffs
will never be 100% right in any sport.
Yeah.
Baseball, they say it's not 100% right.
But football needs to fix it.
Football, college football, or football in general?
College football.
College
football needs to fix it because it's too obscure. You can't tell why a team is making it in.
With 6 teams, you have a clear understanding of 6 teams.
But see, you know what? That's what everybody said. We used to have just 2 teams. And it was based off their regular season record. We went to this 4-team thing, and it's like, hey, now you'll really get to see it. And you know what? It has created way more excitement because it's put it in a situation where you do it. I think one of the reasons why college football doesn't want to go to a 6-team format is you're going to lose that on money. And the reason why you're going to lose that on money is there are so many companies that want to sponsor a bowl game. Because a bowl game was still important. It's still good teams playing football. You're still going to get high ratings. You're still going to get all this stuff. They're going to mention you all the time. So you sponsor it. And those schools make a lot of money to go and play in those bowl games. Well, the problem becomes now if you make it a 6-team playoff and you make it that you're going to end up having 4 playoff games, right? Because you're going to have the 2 first wild card games, and that'll shrink the field from 6 down to 4.
Right.
Then you're going to have another 2 that's 4, and then you have the national championship game. So it's 5 games that you have that make up the playoff. That's 5 bowl games. So all the bigger companies are going to want to go to that. They're not going to want to sponsor the Rose Bowl if it's not where the college football playoff is that year.
Yeah,
and those bowl games are going to end up meaning nothing. And then the team who finished 18th overall in the country, they're going to go to the It Doesn't Matter Bowl. And there's not money there for it. So I think college football is hedging their bets because they don't want to subtract from the value of the bowl games. Because you're seeing kids now, if you're not in the college football playoff, what are you doing? You're sitting out. I'm not playing in the playoff. I'm not playing in a bowl game. It's not worth it. Oh, I'm playing in a bowl game that's part of the playoff? Yeah, I'll play.
Yeah.
And it now has devalued.
That's how I would feel. It's like you're playing a consolation game if you're in any other bowl. Like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
I feel like it used to be like, before the college football playoff, no matter what, you're in a bowl game. Bowl game was your own personal playoff. Yes, you had the championship game, but the Rose Bowl was almost just as much important as
being
it was
invited to any of the other bowls
was important.
Meant that you were good and
now
they liked
like
you.
Crap.
Now it's just like, hey, you made it. We're gonna put this bowl together for you because we'll make money off of you. But it's a game that doesn't mean anything. So like I understand with the players not playing in bowl games.
You got hurt that one game and you.
I'm hearing guys say, oh no, they should play in a bowl game. It's your brothers. It's this, and it's like I don't understand.
The season's over.
The bowl game is only for money for the school and for the sponsors. It has nothing for the kids. The kids did everything they could to try to make it to a playoff. They didn't make it. They won their conference championship. Guess what? I'm not going to hold them down because they're not playing in the Tostitos Bowl.
The thing that sucks is that there's only a certain limited number of teams that can make the college football playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking 4 teams. I'm talking realistically. You're telling me a team wins this conference and they're not the big dogs. They're not going to make the – to me, the whole thing is just a wreck. Like – if you're an NBA team and you're the worst team, but in 2017 and 2018 you have the best record, no matter what division or where you come out of, it doesn't matter who the heck you are, you're in the playoffs.
Yep.
But if you're a UCF and you're not in playing the same exact teams that everybody else is playing, but you beat some of those guys, guess what? You're not Auburn, you're not Oklahoma, and you're not Alabama, and you're not Ohio State. It's gonna be the same 4 teams for the next domination of years. So to me, it's just silly.
And that brings up that question of do you expand the playoffs to a big number, and you say it's a 12-team playoff?
Okay.
That way, every bowl game that's a part of the playoff matters. That then puts you in a situation, but you'd have to shrink the regular season so that these players aren't playing a reckless number of other games.
It's an interesting debate. But
instead of having some conferences don't have a conference, maybe you subtract your conference championship. And those teams potentially get into a playoff. I think it's tough.
It's tough.
It's definitely tough. It's hard to figure out, but college football needs to do something because that's part of the reason why you're starting to lose love for football in general.
Yeah, I agree.
Guys, now this week's Moments of Greatness. Fan-submitted videos. Don't forget, follow us at MomentsOG on Instagram. Submit anything that you did being a badass, doing something with sports. Now for this week's Moments of Greatness. Guys, now like every week, we end with the finisher. This week's finisher, Isaiah Thomas, returns for the Cavs. Has an amazing debut. He scores 17 points in 19 minutes. He's plus 18 on the court for the team. What does this do for the Cavs?
Spark plug.
Do you think he's going to be the same Isaiah Thomas we saw last year?
Yes.
Wow. If he's the same Isaiah Thomas that we saw last year and how good the Cavs have been of late, are the Cavs the best team in the NBA?
No.
Who's better?
I think Houston. And I think
Houston's got.
Or I think the Celtics.
Houston's got hard to meet.
I know.
And the Celtics definitely aren't. Celtics have problems.
Well, listen.
They caught off to the hot start, and everybody's remembering how good they were. But the Celtics haven't been the same team in a minute.
Oh,
and you're adding. I'm saying you're adding in a guy who last year was a borderline MVP candidate, and he just got back to the team. I did not expect him to be himself.
Okay.
But 17 points.
All I gotta say about Isaiah Thomas is that dude has more heart than a lot of people out there, and more determination and more chip on his shoulder.
Well, now
I don't doubt that man. I don't doubt that man at all.
But now especially he's got this chip, and you're playing with LeBron
James.
And is this? I mean, Kyrie was fantastic and is a fantastic player, and I'd say that Kyrie's a better player than Isaiah. But Isaiah is an equal to scorer as Kyrie. If he's not a better distributor, Kyrie's probably better at getting the ball moved around. He's got some sick handles, and he can do some crazy stuff. But Isaiah can score, man. And
score it well when he needs to.
With Jay Crowder coming over in that trade and what they have defensively, and you still have Kevin Love down low, and you still have the greatest player that ever played basketball in LeBron James. This team is really good, and the West is going to be such a dogfight all year, top to bottom. You got Oklahoma City finally playing a little bit better, and they're starting to win some games.
Yep.
You have some good young teams. The Golden State Warriors aren't what they were, and look out, something that I talked about in an earlier episode. We've got Steph Curry is hurt already, ankles again. It was the thing that hurt him in the beginning of his career. He couldn't keep his ankles healthy. And because his ankles couldn't keep healthy because he was frail, he wasn't able to maximize his potential. He got a couple of year run, 3-year run, 4-year run where he was fire, but ankles are coming up. So what we'll leave it with you guys this week. Do you guys think that Isaiah Thomas will return to form?
Truth.
And do you think the Cavaliers are with him? If you think he's going to be that same player, are they the best team in the NBA? We appreciate you guys watching this week's episode of the Highlife Reel. We'll see you next week. If you guys want to, episode 4 is a podcast only. We had some video issues, and you guys can get that there. That was one of our best episodes. Our camera guy was upset. But we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.
See you later.